Hi, I'm sure you're like me where sometimes on your downtime you scroll through social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, and I sometimes get notices from nextdoor.com. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's a place where people can connect with their local neighbors or with nearby neighborhoods for a whole bunch of different things. And I have no doubt that you have seen various different posts like I have where the initial post may be totally neutral or maybe not, maybe it was meant to be polarizing. But if you look at the comments themselves can become very contentious, especially when someone doesn't agree with someone else's opinion. Obviously, we know that we're not always all going to agree on everything, and we should never expect that, and that's okay. Having differing opinions can be a really great way to broaden our perspective and see things from different points of view. But unfortunately, what we see oftentimes is on various different posts on different social media platforms is people can really escalate things to the point of being downright rude, mean, insulting, attacking other people. And there's comments after comments where you can see that they're just going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And oftentimes it's not even with the original poster, it's with two different people who happen to comment on the post itself. People who don't even know each other. They just happen to be able to see and comment on the original post. I see this a lot. I'm sure you have too. And it's not just in one place. It's all across social media in general. And it's just so sad to me that there are so many, well, age-wise, adults that engage in this kind of behavior. It's so petty and it's immature and completely unnecessary. But what is even sadder to me is that there are a lot of people in our own personal lives that we have actual relationships with that can also engage in that kind of inflammatory behavior where they are intentionally trying to kind of like dig at you and get under your skin, and maybe they know your buttons and they are intentionally trying to push them. I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've experienced it. You may have had people in your life like that in the past. You may have people in your life like that right now. And it's really difficult when you're in those situations when you know that someone is trying intentionally to get under your skin. This is someone that you know and you care about. It might be a family member, a friend, romantic relationship, and they say something really just trying to get you going. They're trying to get you riled. They know exactly how to do it. And boy, does it work, right? They say something, especially if it's an insult or if it's an untrue accusation, and you're like, what? You can't help but not get upset, get kind of riled up, get mad, and then you want to fire back. You feel like, I have to defend myself. I have to stand up for myself and set the record straight. I need to make it clear that no, that's not true. That's not the case. It's not this, it's actually that, or whatever it is. But yet, when those situations happen, if someone is actually coming from a place where their initial comments are inflammatory and you know they're intentionally trying to get at you, when you respond and you feel like you have this right to, like you have to, right? Does it really ever result in resolution? Almost never. No, it doesn't. When you're in the middle of it, it kind of feels like this is a zero-sum game. One person wins and the other person loses, and I'm not going to lose. Therefore, I've got to fight back. I need to be the one who wins and comes out on top. I have to have the last word. Does that sound familiar? But does it actually work? Almost never. Both of you end up leaving feeling awful. You tend to feel more stressed out and agitated. It doesn't accomplish anything. It's very difficult to step away from these things, but something that I had to learn the hard way after being through so many of those types of arguments, conversations, what have you, is this. Sometimes the best response is no response at all. Sometimes the best response is no response. Just don't respond. It's easier to walk away when it's on your phone, certainly, but even that can be difficult when, again, it's coming right at you, it's about you, it's an insult, they're trying to push your buttons. Even harder when it's in person or it's over the phone because you're in the middle of a live conversation. But the truth is, when someone is being antagonistic and inflammatory, it's not going to result in what you want it to result in if you engage in that behavior. What ends up happening is they suck you in, you drop down to their level, and they pull you into this negative downward spiral. It's like a vortex of negativity that we get sucked into, right? Again, I know I've been in that that vortex of negativity many times myself. It doesn't feel good, it sucks, and nothing gets accomplished. So sometimes we just need to not respond at all. Just put the phone down and go, no. Say to yourself, I'm better than that. I am stronger than that. I am not going to engage in that kind of behavior. I'm not even going to acknowledge what that person said to me. And sometimes, whatever the thing may be about, you might need to respond at some point, but you don't have to respond right away. You can wait until you can step back, take some breaths, calm down, allow the emotions to dissipate and just kind of go to the side, and then respond when you can respond back from a place of neutrality, not even acknowledging the actual insult. Just respond to what actually needs to be responded to, and that is it, nothing more. And that's it. When it's an in-person conversation, again, a bit more challenging, and I've had to do this again myself, but it works incredibly well to just go, you know what? I know we have to talk about this, and I want to have this conversation, but I want it to be productive. This is not productive. So I'm going to step away right now, and we can revisit this later when we can both take the emotion out of it and just speak as mature adults and not be antagonistic. I'm going to go now. It is amazing what can happen when you set those boundaries for yourself and you hold those boundaries. Those are really important boundaries to have. Again, ones that it took me time to figure out and to learn and to do the hard way myself. And it's kind of funny because I have also learned this is a very common issue for a lot of people. So I end up helping my coaching clients with this very thing, not just this issue specifically, but boundaries in general. This is one form of a boundary. But it can be really powerful because what ends up happening is people need to either then learn to respect your boundaries, your new way of doing things, or they don't. And when they don't, depending on the situation and who it is and how it is, I have people who are not in my life anymore that used to be, because I would take the beatings from them, and then I learned how to not do that and learned how to not engage in those kind of negative vortex conversations, and they refused to respect my boundaries. And so I refused to engage any further. So I have people that I was friends with that I'm not friends with anymore. I have other people that I still have relationships with, that they are still in my life, and things are so much better because the relationship becomes so much healthier when you're able to protect yourself, not engage in those negative, unproductive arguments, and be able to move forward in a mature adult manner to actually have productive conversations. It's really incredible. It's really empowering to be able to stand your ground in a positive way and just say, I'm not going to engage in that. You may not have any of that going on for you right now, so just file this away for in the future if anything does come up in the future. But if you do have people in your life that tend to want to, start something by jabbing at you, pushing your buttons, my question to you then is, how can you choose to not respond when a response really isn't warranted? And how can you choose to respond differently from a place of neutrality, taking the emotion out of it so that things can actually be productive and move forward? I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself, and I will see you next time.